Hello and welcome to the Strategic Bookkeeper podcast. In today's episode, I am going to show you what's inside the Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program. Please don't miss this episode. Please listen right through because like every episode, there is going to be value in here for you. Whether you join the program, whether you don't join the program, there is going to be lots and lots of value, okay? I promise, in order to help you thrive in your practice, yeah? So without further ado, let's just jump right in. I'm Jeannie Savage, the Strategic Bookkeeper. I'm an award-winning entrepreneur, author, speaker, trainer and coach. After 13 years in practice and after scaling into a lifestyle business where I could choose my own adventure, I'm sharing my secrets to success, my secret sauce recipe on how to build a thriving practice, delight your clients and ultimately live your dream on your terms. This podcast is a companion to my book. In each weekly episode, I'll share strategies for scaling and success. This is your time to shine, to step up, to become a strategic bookkeeper and enjoy all the benefits it brings to you and your clients. Okay, my friends, let's jump into the podcast and what's inside the program. So this episode is absolutely going to be a mix of a structured agenda. So I've made notes around what I think is really important to tell you. I'm going to give you a great overview, okay, of what's inside, but I'm also going to try my best to avoid overwhelming you with too much information. And that is impossible for me to do if I tell you everything, which I think will become apparent during the podcast, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the most important, what I think are the most impactful parts relating to you of what's inside the program. And this episode will absolutely be a mix of structure and relaxed sharing. So with that said, let's go. All right. So first of all, I'd just like to rinse and repeat for some of you. So depending on whether you've read my book or not. Okay. So why did I create this program? All right. So a little bit of my story. So I've been in practice for about 13 years. And prior to that, I was in heavy duty business operations, as in I helped grow our family business from 10 to 100 million turnover. To this day, I'm pretty sure if I asked my father what I did there, he'd go scratch his head and say, I'm not quite sure. I had the equivalent of a giant broom behind him and I tidied up, cleaned up every department as I went and systemized, et cetera, et cetera. The point there being that prior to starting my practice, I had a really great background in systemizing and scaling businesses, and I was also raised by an iconic Australian entrepreneurs and world class in the sales and marketing space as well. So my top two human needs are growth and contribution. When I started out in my practice, I started out little, right? I was having a baby and I wanted something flexible. But very soon after I got a spark or an itch to do something a little more. And within a short time, I knew that one day I wanted to take the intellectual property that I was building and help others. It was a desire that was sparked early on, right? Now, within 5 years of starting my bookkeeping practice, I had successfully scaled it into a beautiful little boutique lifestyle practice. And what that means is I had created the systems and the team and the beautiful, let's call it a pipeline, like a beautiful pipeline in terms of sales and marketing where inquiries would just come through, right? And our retention was really, really good. I'd say over the years it's gone from good to great. But 5 years in, I scaled to that, which was perfect timing because I really needed a break. Even though I had started to be able to have that lifestyle business, right? 5 years in, I took a massive sabbatical, and it links through what I went through at that time that I won't go into in this podcast, but it links into my desire to help everyone, but specifically I'm a woman, so this burning desire to help women globally achieve true financial independence for themselves. Okay, so that's part of it. And then the next thing is, early on in my journey, I did actually opt into a system built for bookkeepers, and I was really excited, and I thought, yes, I'm going to use this. And at the time, someone within that organization kind of said, oh, if you don't fill up your books within a year, then you're not worth your salt. You're not a good bookkeeper. And I totally, when I buy into a system, I'm like a disciple of it, right? I really give it my all. And while I did quite well with the sales and marketing within the first year of getting that system, it was despite their system, not because of it. And what that person said was and could be, is very damaging. And it frightened me, not as much for me as it did for every other bookkeeper on the planet, because I know that bookkeepers are often more skills than confidence, and I'm someone who's got a lot of confidence. Let me tell you, confidence does not fall ass first out of the sky. It is something that we build and we value and we put an effort and work into maintaining it. But I realized so that the marketing systems that system came with, they were just terrible, right? The standard operating procedures were good, but the marketing systems were terrible. And I think that sparked a desire to actually give bookkeepers the real message and the opposite message, right? And that is, and this is globally recognized, so the skills and experience required to run a successful business are very different to those required to be a great technical bookkeeper. Yeah. And I'd really like you to pause and take that in for a moment. Okay. So that's a bit of my why. So I've been in practice 13 years, right? So over the last 13 years, as you can imagine, I have built a lot of great systems, a lot of great assets. And if you've read my book, you'll know that I call the first 5 years the fuck up years. And opting into the program is really about helping you to avoid more and more fuck ups, right? So I've been speaking to bookkeepers lately, and they tell me where they're at and things they're doing, and I think, oh my goodness. And I give them some information and some help, and they're like, holy cow, I just did not know this, right? And that is part of the program. It is helping you to fast track your results by telling you what you need to know, by helping you implement what you learn, by giving you the done for you assets so you don't have to build them yourself. Assets are like collateral, right? Think about, website pages, all these different things. We'll talk about that in a minute. 3 years ago, I made the decision to invest a whole lot more money in testing, measuring and refining assets with the knowledge that I would do this, that I would launch the Strategic Bookkeeper transformation program to benefit many, right? And that is a big thing to know, because what I did is I invested far more time and money than it would be viable for you to do yourself, right? So if you're using the book and the podcast, you will absolutely get kick goals and get gains and get massive value. And I would love to hear about it too. I would love for you to tell me how you're going with all of that. But it is not viable for you to go out and recruit the team that I have recruited to do the things that I have done. And I would not have done it for just my practice. I started this journey 3 years ago of my 13-year journey because I knew that I was doing it for the many. Okay. So that's a bit of my story as it relates to how I would like to help you. Next, I would like to let you know that this is not a static course or set of manuals, okay? And so it's not static. I want you to know that the Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program, it's live and evolving. It's a live and evolving program, right? So when you get in there, you're going to get the strategies and the assets. I always like to remind you that these are two big keys, yeah? So the strategies that you need, really robust, detailed strategies, but also the assets, meaning all the collateral, yeah? So think marketing collateral. Like if you've read my book, you're going to get done for you brand, you're going to get done for you menu, you're going to get done for you product ladder that comes into the attraction step of my 7-step method. Yeah, so think done for you social media, all this kind of thing. And do you know what? One asset all by itself, it's not what it's about. Like some bookkeepers might go, oh my goodness, done for you social media. Like yes, we've got about 500 templates, but let me tell you right now, it's the effect of all of them used holistically that's going to get you the result. But I digress. So the takeaway here is that the program is not static, it's evolving. So while you get all that stuff, you can expect me in there evolving with you, right? So new strategies and assets, updated strategy and assets, not overwhelm, carefully released version control, but it is going to be evolving, all right? So imagine that I came into your office and I said, right, I'd like to coach you for the next few months, right? I'd be in there working with you, yeah, not just I wouldn't walk into your office and say, here's everything I know, off you go, right? So the program's a bit like that. I'm in there with you, okay? So the next thing I'd like to talk to you about is who's the program for. The program is for bookkeepers and accountants in practice. It's that simple, yeah? Bookkeepers and accountants in practice. That is either established or just starting out. So it will suit either of you. So basically, no matter what stage of business you're in, the program will suit you. And that is because of a few reasons. So I've worked my bum off to structure it so that it would suit everyone, depending on whether you're a startup or 10 years in. Telling you, if you're 10 years in, I'm still going to give you massive, massive value. So basically, that's because of the way I've structured it. So I've structured it so you can use it as a bit of a choose your own adventure, right? So you've got your 7 principles. Let's say you are 5 years in, heaps of clients, but you're like, oh, I need to squeeze more juice out of the orange. And you might say, Jeannie, I'm just burning desire ready for the advisory part, which is succession. Yeah. Then I can help you with how you choose that adventure. Let's say you're earlier on and the word advisory makes you freeze up like a deer in headlights. And don't worry, I've been there. I have absolutely been there. You're going to get the support to tackle what's going on for you. Yeah. So speaking to a bookkeeper recently, and like a lot of bookkeepers, she really needs to move to outcome-based billing, also known as fixed price billing. I don't like that phrase. My phrase is outcome-based billing. She needs that. She needs to productize her services and stack the value. She needs to increase her prices and free up time. And she definitely needs to value herself more and make sure that she can make all her prospective clients and her clients value and outcome focus. All right. So that she is able to, increase the perceived and actual value of her productized services. So that's just an example of, tailoring the program. Okay. So I've built it so I can help everyone in a way that allows you to choose your own adventure, get tailored support, and you're going to play the long game with me, right? So we're going to go on a lap around the sun together, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well. So now let's talk about the problems that the program seeks to solve. So if you walked up to me at a restaurant or something, or a party, and you said, what do you do? I might say I help bookkeepers with sales, marketing and systems. Yeah. So that's what I might say. And I hope that's helpful for you as an overview of what I'm helping you with. All right. The problems that it seeks to solve are these. So how to find new clients, how to onboard and retain them without price as a priority. I mean, this is like the heart of your viable business. Absolutely. I could rattle on about this forever, but I won't. And then the last problem it really seeks to solve is around future proofing. And again, some of you might go, oh yeah, future proofing, the emperor has no clothes, right? What the hell does that mean? And I'm not going to, I think I've done podcast episodes on this, so there'll be more information on that. But future proofing is really just about adapting to, think of it this way, the economic and tech and business landscape. So as it evolves, your business and your services and your productized services need to evolve as well. And that primarily is future proofing. And a good example of that is you think like 13 years ago, we did a lot more grunt work that now technology does, okay? So over 13 years, we've adapted and evolved our productized services to that changing tech landscape, yeah? Now, advisory is a piece of that puzzle, and I would love to help you to move into that space, but I am not going to throw you in the deep end. If you come into the program and say, Jeannie, I never want to do advisory, I can still help you. Yeah, but I'm probably going to keep tapping you on the shoulder and seeing if I can get you to put your toe in the water. Yeah, but no deep end. I'm not going to throw you in the deep end. All right. But this word advisory is a yucky word that has lots of mystery and fear around it. Yeah, I'm going to demystify it because I've built a system. So this is an advisory system built by a bookkeeper for bookkeepers. And I really think that if you come in and you trust me and you let me hold your hand a little, I'm going to be able to get you to practice some of it to a point where you're comfortable to actually try it with a client, okay? But they're the three problems that this seeks to solve. Now, everything else that it seeks to solve is more of a symptom of you not solving that problem. For example, well, Jeannie, I need to fix price, right? Well, that's a symptom of something. Yeah. Why do you need to fix price? You know, this kind of thing. So I could play the why game on that, but we'll move on. They're the main problems it seeks to solve. And as I said, this is about sales, marketing and systems, and I have given you a full package solution. So I was talking to an industry leader the other day, and he did comment on my system and said, wow, you've really provided the full solution here. So the next thing I would like to talk to you about, briefly like to touch on your competitive advantage, okay? And everyone needs a competitive advantage. In fact, I would suggest that you are retaining the clients that you have now because of your selling points and your competitive advantage. You might just not really have dived into what they are, okay? Because they can be quite vast. But when you come into the program, I certify you as a strategic bookkeeper, and then you get like a badge, right? And you become a strategic bookkeeper in the eyes of your clients with a set of strategies and assets. And that alone becomes an amazing competitive advantage. Okay. We actually list you on a directory as well, but I'm not going to get into that here because, as I said, I want to avoid overwhelm and just give you what I think is the most important and impactful. We are going to give you other things that give you massive competitive advantage, right? So strategies and assets that you can use and then display, right? So I talk about plug and play assets. What that means is that you're going to be able to take the assets that I give you, right, and you're going to be able to plug them into your digital ecosystem. And what that means is, for example, your digital ecosystem is your website and your social media profiles primarily, okay? So you're going to be able to plug them in, and then I give you the strategy. So here's how you're going to use them and go to market with them. And all of this is going to give you massive competitive advantage right? Selling points, unique selling proposition, which means you have the opportunity to never lose an opportunity to a cheaper competitor ever again. And actually, there's one strategy that I developed only this year or late last year, because I was looking at the business landscape and going, wow, over a few changes. And I thought, okay, I need to do something here. I need to adapt. And you know what? I reflected on my 50 years in business from when my father opened when I was 1 year old. And there's an old school strategy that he had. And I never thought that I would renovate it to use in our industry, and yet I did because of the changing business landscape. So I've created this strategy, and I actually cannot tell you what it is because it is in the vault for the members of the program. This one is such a powerful, incredible competitive advantage, completely transformational, that I've made a decision to keep it just for the members of the program. But to rinse and repeat, it will allow you to never lose an opportunity to a cheaper competitor ever again unless you decide that prospective client is not right for you, okay? But this is going to give you the opportunity. So imagine that a cheaper competitor goes, I'm cheaper, right? And that often you face, well, this person's cheaper and it's just bookkeeping, it's a grudge purchase, I'll go with them. I'm giving you strategies and assets to make sure that person comes back to you and values you and has another conversation with you, okay? So that was really about the competitive advantage, because this is a big part of it. All right. So increasing your perceived value and your actual value, because you're going to love my productized services. Like, you get my whole suite of productized services, right? As they are now and updated. So we're going to stack the value of everything, and you can immediately plug them into your business and start using them, plug and play. Competitive advantage, increased perceived and actual value. Okay. So the next thing I would like to tell you about, it's more into the what. So, the details of kind of the what and the structure. So I am a trainer and assessor. So I used to train the Cert for bookkeeping. Love it. I have a real passion for delivering adult learning. And so you will notice, if you've met me or you've seen me speak, even my podcast, you might notice I can get a bit teachery when you see me face to face in events. I am looking and I am testing to see if you are absorbing knowledge. Okay, that's the trainer and assessor method. So what is the 7 steps, right? So brand, menu, attraction, conversion, succession, systems, and team. Fast and furious, yeah? So I've got like a file system, as you can imagine. Might call it a server, and it contains all the strategies and the assets, yeah? So we've got all that there, and it's ready to provide to you to plug and play. It's a 12-month program, yeah? It is to a large extent self-paced, so there's a structure, and I'll be in there. So you'll get the course material, and then I'll be in there every fortnight with you doing like coaching and implementation sessions. So in making it all work, right? Because it's one thing to give people knowledge or throw them in a Facebook group, but it's another to actually get results. And my program comes with a money back guarantee. For the details of the money back guarantee, I'll rinse and repeat at the end. You just join the program waitlist, and that's obligation free, and you'll get details. Okay, I can't pack everything in here, but it comes with a full money back guarantee. So it's a 12-month program, pretty self-paced, and you move through it super fast. Yes, you can. But even if you move through it super fast, here's what I want to tell you. Any transformation in business or really in personal, from what I have observed all my life, takes a lap around the sun, a year. It's almost cosmic. So when you set a big goal, here's what I see happens, right? Because I'm a massive goal setter, and I set goals personally as well. So I might sit down with my journal, a beautiful spot in my house, looking all the way to Belly Mountain, and I might set a personal goal, just like a business goal, yeah? And often I kick that goal pretty quick, because I come up with a goal, action steps, and I swing into action, and before you know it, I'm doing really well. But here's what I know. I know that once I've kicked the goal, there's the practice makes perfect or practice makes progress piece, and there's the bedding that habit down. Okay, so you've achieved something, but it's about achieving it daily in our lives and actually making it something that's permanent. Yeah, I really know this with all my heart. And I also know that when I work with my clients, when I get them to have this mindset of the lap around the sun, what happens is on day one, when everything seems like, oh, wow, you know, like, wow, here's where I am now, and you've got questions and all these things, then a year later, after we've worked together consistently, I actually have to remind you where you were because you can't even remember. Right? Now that doesn't happen after a week or a month or 3 months. It does take a lap around the sun to make that transformation. You know, I guess from caterpillar to butterfly. It really does take that lap around the sun. So can you move through the program quickly and get results? Yes, I've structured the program and the fee structure. To get the fee structure, please just join the wait list. I've structured it so that you'll get a return on investment and kick goals incrementally throughout the year. I also imagine that within 6 months, you're like, yeah, I got this, right? And then the last 6 months is really a lot of just that refinement and tweaking and testing. And then after a year, I consider that you have graduated just like you've graduated school. All right. There are 5 things that I believe make this program work in a holistic way to get your results. They are education, assets, implementation, team and support. And I'd like to run through those now. Okay. So education. Oh my goodness. You need to know what you need to know first. Yeah. So I speak to bookkeepers and they tell me what they know. And I go, no, can I tell you what I do? And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, I could do that. I'm like, yeah, you could. And the impact on your business and life would be massive, right? So you absolutely need to get educated now and forever. Yeah, this is one of the big keys. So I'm going to educate you. I'm going to tell you what you need to know. How am I going to do that? You're going to have access to online course material. Okay. And then every fortnight, at this stage, I'm doing it fortnightly. Depending on demand, I can jump in and do more. We'll just see how we go. So every fortnight, along with that education, or as part of that education, you've got the sessions with me, the group sessions where I am coaching you and supporting you and help you to implement what you learn, okay? So number 2 is the assets, yeah? So you're going to get a suite of assets, right? And I mean, it's like you'll get the assets, but then what do you do? So the third part is implementation. So we're going to teach you what you need to know, give you the assets, and then there's the implementation. So we are going to show you in both live sessions and in the course material how to implement the assets and use the strategy. So that's really important, and that's a big part of that lap around the sun because we want to keep helping you. So imagine that you're using assets and strategies, and then you jump into the live session and we're talking and you're asking questions, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, but you need to do this, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll go and try that, yeah? So it's about after you've implemented, it's about the practice makes progress, practice makes perfect, all right? So after that lap around the sun, you can't even remember the time that you didn't get it quite right because it's working now, yeah? And let me tell you, after that lap around the sun, imagine that like graduating primary school, then I want you to go into high school, all right? So your journey never ends, and I want to support you forever. So that was implementation. So we've talked education, assets, implementation. The next one is team. Okay, so remember earlier in the podcast I said that 3 years ago I made the decision to invest a lot of time and money into a team, to help me refine and build and bed down all of the assets and strategies that I'm now giving you. So I have a team that a bookkeeping practice could not conceivably recruit and make viable. So what I mean by that is you could absolutely go out and recruit them, even if you've got, say, 10 on your team. You could go out and recruit them, but the investment in that team would be, you would struggle as one bookkeeper to get the return needed to make it viable. Okay, so when you join the transformation program, you get my team and you get them in this way. So first of all, you've got me as a bookkeeper coaching you, someone that's been there, done that, and I'm in there in those live sessions coaching you, and I have provided you with all of that education in the course material, etc. Right? But you get me. You get my world-class marketing strategist. Oh my goodness. So when I recruited her, like I created a profile for what I needed. She was the last person that I onboarded into the team and what I call the missing link. So when I recruited her, it was such a fine role that I then went globally. So I looked in every country in the world. Yeah, so I recruited globally and I only got a handful of applicants. That's how specialty her skill is as a marketing strategist. We think an incredible wealth dynamics profile. That's psychometric testing if you've read it in the book. But anyway, so she comes along and she is in there doing assets for you, right? So she's an amazing marketing copywriter, as am I, right? So you get a marketing strategist, a marketing copywriter, someone doing all your messaging for your Keep in Touch email messaging, and more and more and more. Okay, so you get me, you get a world-class marketing strategist, you've got our branding and graphics person behind the scenes there, building out and updating a lot of your assets. And you've got someone behind the scenes who's narrowly focused on standard operating procedures and team, okay? As I see systems and team as standalone. So the first 5 steps in my method I consider linked to sales and marketing, because sales and marketing is also about simply increasing your gross profit and net profit, right? So outcome-based billing strategies I see as a sales and marketing component, yeah? Whereas systems and team I see as quality assurance and promises kept. But obviously they're linked to everything as well. But with systems and team, I have got a dedicated person that will treat that separately and help you to implement the done-for-you standard operating procedures, recruit and manage winning teams, and she's extraordinary, okay? So you get the team there to support you. That is not really viable for you to go out and recruit yourself. Now, stick with me. We are almost done. So I've already mentioned the money back guarantee, and I do think it's better that I give you the details of that when you join the waitlist, but it's pretty simple. So basically the fee structure for the program, the investment, I know is so easy to get a return on. In fact, I know that if you onboard just one new client, it'll pay for itself. Or if you onboard one and upgrade one, then it will not only pay for itself, the profit margin fully undermanaged with team, it would pay for itself. So all you've got to do is achieve that, and I know that you've got your money back, right? If you can't achieve your return on investment, money back guarantee. There is so much more I could go into, but I feel like I've given you a really good overview. So yeah, that's it. That's the program. So I do have some foundation member special offers to celebrate the launch of the program, and I'm going to do a separate audio clip explaining these. So right now, I just want to really encourage you to jump on the wait list for the Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program, because that does not oblige you to join. What it does is it secures you a place in the queue, yeah, so you don't miss out. We don't have never-ending capacity, all right? We are going to have to cap numbers, and it is first come, best dressed, yeah? And lastly, I would love nothing more than to help you become a strategic bookkeeper and thrive in practice to achieve your dream on your terms through my transformation program. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a question you'd like answered on my podcast, please email me, hello@thestrategicbookkeeper.global. Did you know we have a private Facebook group called the Strategic Bookkeeper's Way? There you'll find bookkeepers just like you on the same journey where you can ask questions and get support. You can find more resources and how to work with me at thestrategicbookkeeper.global. All the links are in the show notes. Have a prosperous week and I'll see you in the next episode.